Good evening and welcome to our 6 p.m. City Council meeting of December 16th, 2025. Please note that all council members are present at this time. I will turn the time over to Council Member or Vice Chair Heyer to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, please rise if you're able and join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please take a moment of silence with me. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is acknowledgements.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would like to bring to the council's attention and acknowledge the fact that last week, one of our own, Miss Rodeo Utah 2024, was crowned Miss Rodeo America, Olivia Favero from Taylor. She has competed in the Miss Rodeo Utah pageant for several years and has just been a great advocate and a great mentor, and she represents our community well. And so shout out to Olivia and those who support her from Ogden Pioneer Days. So thank you.
Awesome. Other acknowledgements, Councilmember Chaburka. I don't get to do this anymore, so please come up with something.
Okay, well, I acknowledge that Janine made us the very coolest, what is this, a mug?
Mug rug.
It's a mug rug.
Mug rug, with the Ogden City flag. Thank you so much, Janine. I love it very much. There we go.
Sure.
Anybody else?
So yeah, I'd like to acknowledge Bart Blair, Angela Chaburka, and Marcia White, who, you know, everybody, as you look upon this council right now, I did a little math today, which is not my strong suit. You're looking at 58 years of accumulated experience and dedication to Ogden City in the form of City Council. As we adjourn tonight and in the first of the year, when the new council is seated, that will go from 58 years of accumulated experience and service to Ogden City to 22. And these three individuals have done so much to shape Ogden in meaningful ways. With their departure, we're not just losing seats on the dais, we're losing decades of experience, institutional knowledge, trusted relationships that have strengthened this council and this city. In a strong mayor, strong council form of government, that experience matters. It informs how we legislate, how we collaborate, how we avoid repeating past mistakes, knock on wood. That depth of understanding can't be replaced overnight. And as we look ahead to welcoming and seating a new council in the new year, this transition reminds us of our responsibility we share to preserve institutional knowledge, support one another, and ensure continuity in our work. At the same time, we do so with gratitude for the service, leadership, and commitment these departing members have given to Ogden, Bart, Marcia, and Angela. Their legacy will continue and influence this council and this community long after they're gone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, just a quick as well. I here to that. That's incredible. Thank you, Councilmember Graff, for that information. And 22 years. That's probably more than half. That's you, Rich. So
Yeah, 16 years.
Bart.
no, going
12 is you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, going into
12 and 22.
Yeah.
This is our last meeting of the year, and I know I've mentioned this, but I just want to say again to all of those who worked on Christmas Village to get it to where it is, putting up the lights. I've been down here on a run early in the morning and seen them out working, and just really dedicated to really light up the downtown Ogden and make it such a great place. And right now, as we're meeting, there's families out there walking around enjoying that. It's a really cool thing. We've had the giving machines out there and the Light the World thing with. I think they're gone now. They were here through Saturday, I want to say, and
Till Monday.
Oh, till Monday. That's right. And so we had just such a cool idea to open our hearts and donate, and there's plenty of opportunities as well as we look around ourselves and the people around that may be struggling or having a difficult time. So just encourage people to kind of carry that light with them, and thank you again to the workers in the city who have made our city center as beautiful as it is.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Dave, I hope your math is wrong.
You did my math over
No,
again?
I hope it's wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Any other things?
Well, Chair, I didn't do the math that Dave did to the research, but I don't have any recollection of 3 council members leaving at once before. So this is kind of a new experience that I think we're going to have. I'm optimistic. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be good, but we do lose that institutional knowledge, and I appreciate the math that you did on that. But it is, I think I've always been kind of looked at as the guy that is just the oldest and can remember Ogden the longest, and I've enjoyed that role, and I will continue to do that as best I can. So anyway, but kudos for those of you who are going on to other things, and our best to you.
Thank you. Well, I can't speak for the other 2 council members, but for anybody that's watched Severance, it's just because we walk out those doors doesn't mean that we're going to forget. So if there's things that you have questions about, please give me a call. I don't know about the other 2. But I would assume they would answer your phone as well.
If Marcia's busy, go ahead and call me.
Yeah. It's that chain. It'll go here.
Put me on the text chain.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Next on our agenda is a few consent items. The Weber Morgan Board of Health appointment, the consideration of Sean Myers to the Weber Morgan Board of Health, the Central Weber Sewer Improvement District appointment, the appointment of Ken Ritchie, and then the Public Services Management Study contract approval. These are all under a consent item, and with that, I need a motion.
Chair, I'd make a motion that we adopt the items under the consent, and specifically noting the resolution 2025-26.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Council Member Myers to adopt these 3 consent items. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair,
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka,
Aye.
Councilmember Graff,
Aye.
Councilmember Myers,
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie,
Yes.
Vice Chair Heyer,
Aye.
Chair White.
Aye, that passes. Thank you. Next on our agenda are a couple of public hearings, or a couple of public hearings having to do with the annual action plan. We have a presentation, I'm assuming, by Kathy or Jeremy. Okay.
Salud.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Grateful to be here today to talk to you about our Con Plan and Annual Action Plan Amendment for fiscal year 2026. So just a reminder of what this is. The 5-year consolidated plan is the mechanism for the entitlement funding for 2 federal grants that the city receives through HUD. It's the CDBG, or Community Development Block Grant, and also the Home Investment Partnership Grant. And the Con Plan outlines what the city plans to do with the HUD funds for the next 5 years. The Annual Action Plan is the portion of that plan that is a plan for every year within those 5 years. And the implementation for the first year of the Con Plan was done recently when we adopted this most recent Con Plan. It outlines the programs, goals, and budgets for the HUD funding for this fiscal year that we're currently in. When we present that annual action plan, we do it with estimates for the budget in place, and then As we do an amendment about halfway through the year that trues up some of those numbers and aligns our budgets to the reality of the projects that we're working on. And so that's why we're coming to you tonight with this amendment, and as well as to make some of the changes that are proposed for our programs. The Amendment 1, just to clarify, is where the changes are happening or what we're proposing. There are no changes to the actual con plan. So here are the proposed changes. The Amendment 1, the first is for the Own and Ogden program. We're proposing that we increase the budget to $600,000 of the home funds and match funds. And that will help us to accomplish our goal of granting 50 down payment assistance loans to home buyers for down payment assistance. The second of which is the allocation of Home Community Housing Development Organization, or CHODO, funds relocation. This isn't an actual change to the budget, but it's a reassignment of funds, of those home funds, to a different project. Where it was previously programmed for the rehab resale program, we'll be moving those funds to assist with the construction of a new single-family home, and that's located at 2217 Madison Avenue. The contribution for that construction will be, with these CHODO funds, is $158,520. The third is the added target area public improvement carryover money to annual action plan fiscal year 26. This was already approved in fiscal year 25. That project is now nearing completion. We just need to identify it as part of this. We'd also need to do an update on some home grant policies. HUD recently passed a new rule that requires that period of affordability is outlined and updated as well in our plan. And then for the budget updates, here are the changes that we're proposing for this amendment. The first is, as I mentioned, the Own and Ogden program. We would increase that by $250,000, which brings it to the amendment of $600,000. The Emergency Home Repair Program will not have any changes. The CHODO program is that reallocation where the budget doesn't change, but does require a notice that it does move to the infill housing project. That's for $158,520. The the Housing Purchase, Rehab, and Resale Program does increase by $748,465 for a total of $3,742,416. The HELP program, which is a non-federal program, but we include it with these for your information, increases $167,447 and is amended to $1,643,233. The Home ARP allocation plan increased $140,905 for a change for the total of $987,275. Target area public improvements increased to $500,000, and that is the amount as well. And then administrative costs for these federal grants increased $14,329 for a total of $829,132. For the business development portion of this, the changes are as follows. There are no changes to the small business loan program or the micro enterprise loan program. There was a decrease in the CV CDBG funds, both for the business recovery fund, for the jobs, as well as the micro enterprise programs. They decreased $169,465 and $308,174. That was the money that was shifted into the CDBG CV Public Improvement Program that I mentioned previously. And that concludes my presentation on the budget changes and the Annual Action Plan Amendment 1. Happy to answer any questions or talk to you about anything about HUD that you want to talk about.
All right, any questions?
Okay.
Okay, thanks. And Justin, you're not going to go. Why don't we have you come up and do the budget changes, and then we'll get public input on both.
Thank you, Chair, council members. So in conjunction with the annual action plan update, there is a budgetary piece of this, as was mentioned. And so in your packet, there is an ordinance to amend the budget. The numbers in there are slightly different than what was presented by Jeremy. And the reason that is each year when we go through the budgeting process, we'll anticipate what the budget should be for the year, but we won't have final numbers for like carryover and final awards. And so the budget that was adopted by City Council in June for fiscal year 26 had numbers in it that were slightly different than what was in the original action plan because we had gotten some updates. And so the total change is slightly different than theirs because this is truing up to what the actual amendment to the annual action plan shows. So the actual budget change is an adjustment of just over 1.2 million, and that's to bring in alignment the individual line items within our budget to align with the annual action plan. So this is the changes in the budget on the revenue side, so you can see which programs are adjusted, and then on the expenditure side, the different programs and how those lined out based on the proposed changes through community development. So any questions on the budget side of this proposal tonight?
Any questions for Justin? All right,
thank you.
thanks. All right, this is a public, it's an opportunity to receive public input. Is there anyone that would like to talk in regards to either one of these?
Laura Lewis, Ogden City resident. I just have a question. I don't really understand this. Where does the money come from for these increases?
Any other questions?
Not seeing any or hands online. Chair, I'd make a motion we close the public hearing on these two items.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Ritchie, second by Vice Chair Heyer to close the public input. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, if we could have, I don't know who would like to, Jeremy?
It'd be nice if you just said, you write the check, right?
Yeah, this is, happy to answer this. So it can be confusing because this budget's a lot different than a lot of others that are seen in the city. This program the programs that we run through community development oftentimes have what's called program income and carryover. So a lot of these are loans, or we sell a home, they generate revenue through those transactions. That is the money that's rolled over and why we need to change the budget to increase it. So anytime we sell a property or someone pays off a loan, we receive proceeds, we revise the budget to reflect those changes, as well as if not all the money was spent the previous year, that's called carryover. That also comes in, and that's where that money comes from. Good.
So Jeremy, if I can just, for clarity's sake, if someone comes to Ogden City and says, I'm purchasing a house, I'd like to take advantage of what the city has to offer as far as down payment assistance, okay? And they are successful in garnering $10,000 toward their down payment. And 4 years down the road, they're gonna sell their house. And at closing, that money is coming back to the city. So that's what you're talking about around property sales, where it feeds the money that was loaned out to them back into the system again, and that causes the need for a budget change or an amendment to the budget to move that money forward for use again.
Yes, that's a great example.
We're recycling money.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay.
All right, any other questions from council members? All right, there's two
Chair.
different actions.
Make a motion then concerning proposed resolution 2025-25. I would make a motion that we adopt that resolution.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Blair to adopt proposed resolution 2025-25. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Chaburka.
Aye.
Councilmember Graff.
Aye.
Councilmember Myers.
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Aye.
Councilmember Blair.
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer.
Aye.
Chair White.
Aye, that passes.
Madam Chair, could I share a comment, please?
Please.
I think it's very important for Ogden City residents, or especially those of you that are here today, who have the opportunity to hear this explanation, because this is government in action, and it shows accountability that the city is taking with funds that they receive from whatever source of the income is. A lot of that is HUD money that has gone out that comes back into the city now that procedures have taken place or home sales have taken place. So I like this a lot because of the transparency that's there, and then the fact that that accountability carries over from the administrative side to the council side, which makes it very public for everyone to hear and understand where that money comes from. And it shows that Ogden City is being accountable for that income. So Laura, I hope that helps.
Oh, yeah.
Understanding
I just didn't know where it was coming
that I just really like the process on this, because we receive HUD money every year to help with housing projects in our city. But that money just has a snowballing effect over time, that it continues to grow, and then it's administered in a very responsible way so that we can watch how that benefits our community. So hats off to Jeremy. Thanks for making that presentation.
Thanks, Councilmember.
So with that, thank you as well. I would also make a motion then that we adopt proposed ordinance 2025-24, adopting the budget amendment.
Second it.
I
mean
think it's
42?
2025-42.
What did I say? 2025-42?
Yep.
That's it, 42.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Ritchie, second by Councilmember Myers? Yep. That's what I wrote down. I just was like, whoa, okay.
I threw her with the 42.
I know.
before.
To adopt this proposed ordinance 2025-42, this is a roll call vote.
There's some discussion, correct?
There can be, certainly,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can.
Sorry.
I don't have any discussion. I just thought I heard someone wanting to have some discussion, so, no, okay, excuse me.
Just the name.
All right, we're ready for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Graff,
Aye.
Councilmember Myers.
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Aye.
Councilmember Blair.
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hire.
Aye.
Chair White.
Aye, that passes. All right, next on the agenda is reports from administration regarding the proposed airport leasing priority or policies.
Chair White and members of the council, thank you for the opportunity to come before you. And as we get ready to kind of go through this, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity you've given us to come and present to you, to continue to talk about this. We're not done yet. There's still other pieces that have to go, but we appreciate the willingness to hear us and to go through as we try to continue to work through these different things. So the proposal before you tonight is to make additional amendments to Title VIII. And to kind of take portions that exist in Title VIII and separate them into different portions. There is a portion that will stay in Title VIII that will require that there is a policy and that there's a provision that must be followed at the airport. The actual leasing policy would be moved to Title XI administrative policy, administrative code that would be under the mayor. And then the rates, fees, and charges, which there is a portion of that in here, although it is incomplete, and we will be bringing that back before you as well, would stay in the city's code and our consolidated fee schedule that we'd be moving that portion in there. This has been a challenging thing, as you well know. There's a lot of different things. I think the thing that comes to mind for me is the saying that goes that, a man can't serve two masters, and I think that's where we struggle in this one. And I'm not referencing that as far as the council and the mayor. I'm more referencing that in the sense that we have the Federal Aviation Administration that we have to be responsible to at the airport. We have the State Division of Aeronautics that we have to be responsible to, and then we have our own city ordinances and requirements that we have to follow, and we're constantly trying to balance all those out and find the best vantage point that we can to help us push forward, make good business decisions, and help the airport prosper at the same time, not making it a burden on those that are trying to operate out there. So we are going to tag team this a little bit as well. Brian is going to kind of go through a very high level some of those concepts, And then any questions that you have, we'd love to answer those. So thank you.
Good evening, Chair White, Council. So I like these much better in the work than the work sessions, because the work sessions go on forever. So we're going to give you the review of our work sessions and let the public know what we've been working on, the hundreds of hours that we've been working on. So we started with the master plan of the airport and what the city council wants for their airport. And it's basically these three: promote general aviation, promote commercial air service, and aeronautical business. So that's what we've derived this. The main concepts, I'm having a hard time with this. We'll do these first three. That's changed from the previous policy. Oh, well, there you go. Is open and fair to the public. So if anybody wants to lease land or a facility, we're going to let the public know, hey, we have interest in this, so that everyone will know, or they say, I asked for this last year, but now you gave it to somebody else. So that's the first major change. The next one is we're going to be compliant with our FAA grant assurances, preserving the city's rights and powers. An example of that is a maximum 50-year lease. And then the methods to adjust the land rent. We'll see. Supposed to help, but it didn't. There you go.
There it goes.
Oops. This was also a point that needed to be clarified with the council and administration and the tenants. There's two methods to adjust the land rent. One is current market value. That's done by a professional, usually during the master plan, but the city can do it at any time. And then the annual escalation to keep up with the inflation rate and the increase in value of the land at the airport. So the hangar life cycles was a big concept that we brought up. The FAA allows 40 years to recover the costs on a hangar, but the master plan says we want to promote local businesses and local pilots investing in the airport. This is where we came up with the extra 30 years, that if the city doesn't need it, and we have lots of slides, we've gone through many scenarios that we won't burden you with, we'll just give you the main ones. And then after 70 years, it's up to the city to determine whether they want to remove it or give a 5-year lease. Also, the other thing we improved is lease assignments or transfers. So if someone has a 40-year lease and they're only 5 years into it, they could either assign that existing lease over or sell it, and that buyer could enter a new lease, whichever they determine is in their best interest. So the airport is still protected, but it gives options to the tenants. Lease
Ryan,
expiration.
can I just clarify on that point, when there is a transfer, the airport is involved in that discussion as well. It's not necessarily
Yes.
between two parties outside of.
No, there's a process.
Yeah, thank you.
And just also for clarification, does it restart the time on that 2010-10 thing?
If they choose to just assign the lease, all the terms stay the same. So the lease rate would stay the same.
So it's kind of like a subletting, is that right?
If they want to get a new lease, then they come in at the new market rate.
Okay.
They have to have an inspection.
Okay.
After 25 years, that may be in their best interest because they could get an extended period of time. Oh, your facility is now maintained. The current interest rate or the current rent on the land is not that much more, so it may be advantageous for a tenant to want that option, where before they didn't have that option.
Okay.
So that also promotes business and local pilots investing in the airport while protecting the airport, because we get to keep charging the current market rate for the for the
Great.
land.
Thank
And we get to inspect the buildings along the way.
So, and if I can just make a comment too, Brian, in the last couple of minutes, you've said this twice. I don't want to burden you. We're not looking to shirk any responsibility in our role as city council and take the easiest path from point A to point B. Please don't skip anything because you think it's a burden. Please share with us so that we can make an informed decision about what's going on at the airport and the issues that we're facing, because we're not looking to skip over anything. Please burden us.
Rest assured, we have not skipped over anything with the tenants and myself and the consultants and the attorneys. And you have all the high-level detail for the Title VIII ordinance. And I'm giving you what we're proposing in the lease policy. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'm not sure. These were the major contention issues between the tenants, the FAA, and the city in the past. We've come to consensus on the path forward on all of them, and we're vetting it through Dana, who's been great, and also our aviation attorney to make sure we're compliant with our federal grant
Yeah,
assurances.
and I'm not doubting your process. I just am inviting you not to make it easy on us.
Okay.
You're not, please give us everything we need.
Okay, I
Thank
will.
you.
I will make sure that you get everything you need up front. So the current market rate is set by a professional. It can be done any time, and then it's effective for all new leases coming into play. Now, for leases that are already there, we have an escalation, whether it's a CPI or a 3%, we can figure that out later. But that's been a major change in the way the land rate gets charged. The next concept is if you build a new hangar, you're guaranteed 20 years plus 2 10-year extensions. So that meets the FAA's requirement for recovering your initial investment. This next 20 plus 10 is the extra, I call it value added, that's going to incentivize the local pilots and local businesses to invest in the airport. And then we've come to the consensus after 70 years, the serviceable life of a hangar, even though it might be functional, is terminated. If the city doesn't need it and the hangar's been kept up in very good condition, we could keep giving 5-year leases on that. So it doesn't mean we're going to take it back. Also with the redevelopment district. So if the city on the master plan decides there's a redevelopment district, we can let the tenants know after that 40 years that this area is going to be redeveloped. Now, during that 40 years, we always have the right to relocate them, but then that would be on the FA's and the city's dime to relocate them to a different place. So we're protecting that. Any questions on this general outline? This is where we spent most of our time trying to make it equitable for everybody. So here's, and we're going to get into one of the examples here. So new construction, you have a fixed lease at execution, which is the current market value, plus I just put 3% in there, whatever it is. So for the first 20 years. Then up to 40 years. At 20 years, we do a facility inspection and we make sure that their lease rate is up to whatever the current market rate is. Then at 40 years, we do the same thing. You'll notice that it's gone down. This is an example because it can go down. I've seen it happen once in 2009 for the Great Recession. The lease rates actually went down. Or the city may choose, we're not getting the development we want. We want to lower the rate to incentivize. So the city has the option to go up or down. It doesn't always have to go up.
And that'll be the master plan that dictates that, right?
Correct. Or just guidance from the city council, yeah.
Okay.
When we report to the city council how the airport's doing, hey, we're not getting the business we want, then that's one of the options the city council has to lower that rate. This is the other item that we've addressed, that after 20 years, we have the inspections to make sure all the buildings are up to code and not run down. And then every 10 years, every lease is subject to that current market value rate. The next, after 40, past 40, after 40-year-old hangar, this is where the value added to promote interest and investment from the local pilots. It's city discretion after that, so if the city doesn't determine in a master plan it needs that area, then the tenants have that extra value of 30 years to be a member of the airport and active in aviation. So this is one of the examples. So if you have a 40-year lease and you decide to sell it at 25 years, somebody could assume the other 15 years up to the 40, or they could request the 20 plus 10. So that gives them that option, and about 25 years is a good.
Brian, you've been in the business for a long time. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if I get my pilot's license when I'm 20, and I buy a new airplane, I would have to have a hangar for it. When I have a 70-year-old hangar, I'm 90. Does anybody ever do that? I got to believe it's going to be changing hands many times over 70 years.
It will. But how do we incentivize the young 20-year-old to invest in the airport if he can't have an exit strategy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have this for 20 years, so in 20 years, what is this value of my hangar worth? And maybe I'm going to put more money into my hangar, more amenities in it, and keep it up if I get the value out. So the value is at 20 years, you can either have a 20-year lease or a 30-year lease.
Mm.
If you want a 20-year lease, you have the current rate and the current expiration. But if you want a 30-year lease, you have to now go up to the new rate, new lease. It gives the value back to the tenant while it protects the airport from losing revenue and derelict hangars.
Okay.
So they will change hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian, a key component of that is also inspections that you mentioned earlier to make sure that they're complying with the lease agreements to maintain their hangars. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the things that hasn't historically been kept up. That was put in the state audit report. One of the things we needed to improve was continual annual inspections and facility inspections. So
That's one of the components of this that I really like, is that inspection schedule that you've added.
Yep. So a 55-year-old hangar still has value in it. So this would be it, but we wouldn't initially offer anything less than 15 years on a 55-year-old hangar, because then it hits the 70-year mark. Now, it doesn't mean at 70 years it's over. It's at city's discretion again. Hey, we don't need this land. There's nobody else interested in it. We're going to give it to you for another 5 years, contingent upon it being in good condition, and they have an aircraft and all the insurance. All of these are conditional on them compliant with the standards of the airport. And this is in the redevelopment district. It's anything over 40, you get 5 years or less. Actually, it says 5 years or less at the city's discretion. Much better, shorter presentation than the last two you've sat through. So, any questions?
So any questions for Brian? Is that a RDA that has already been
Yes.
outlined?
Or future, if in 28. So actually, the next budget cycle, we'll be budgeting for another master plan. So that's the opportunity for the city council to say, yes, this is working, or we need another RDA. Don't think you do, but we're going to give you guys the hard decisions on that one.
Right, any questions?
I'm very pleased working with the tenants and with the attorneys and with AGP. Kurt and Ryan have been very helpful in getting us started on the right path, and very, very pleased with where we're at right now.
Thanks, Brian. There's several, a few of you, stakeholders. Would anyone like to, is there anyone that would like to talk about this. It's not a public hearing or anything, but I think it'd be great if you wanted to tell us about your process and that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Charlie Precourt, and I'm among several of the stakeholders here this evening. Delighted to have a couple of minutes to speak with you. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm a resident in Ogden for 20 years. I'm delighted to have had the privilege to work with Ed McKinney, Brian Janroy, Martin McLaughlin, a couple others who aren't here, Brian, Jared Johnson, Dana Farmer in the back. We've all gotten together. I am more excited about the airport than I've been in the 20 years that I've been working out there. I ran the propulsion business for Northrop Grumman here that started out as Hercules and Thiokol. You probably remember the rocket company. And I used the aircraft that I based there for that business. It's been a struggle at the airport, as you know, for many years. We're trying to make it viable and self-sustaining. There are several leading indicators of what's happening out there right now in my professional aviation experience and my involvement to this day. I'm a board member of the National Business Aviation Association, located out of Washington, D.C. It advocates for business aviation with the FAA in Washington. And I'm also a board member of the Experimental Aircraft Association out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, the home of the biggest air show in the world. Every July, many of our members here at the airport are members of that organization. And when I speak of leading indicators, when I'm out there looking for feelers around the country, everybody's talking about Ogden again and how powerful the changes could be for the future development and the economic vitality of this airport. It's been a really great process. I think we're all lockstep with where this is going and really, really look forward to the next several years working with the council and the city's administration and making this a really great airport. We've already got other leading indicators that are becoming continuing indicators with the Flight FBO out there. That's a national chain. We've got a brand new terminal. We got a lot of interest in further development of the properties out there. We got an RDA that'll bring new fresh blood to the economic vitality of the airport. So everything is really looking in a positive direction. So thanks for listening to all of that. Really fun to be a part of it.
Great, thank you.
Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes, please.
I just want to say thank you so much for your input. And I was just, visiting with other council members and saying that tonight this is a little challenging for me to consider in that, we're kind of taking another leap of faith on the direction of the airport. But because of the process and the way that the council has been included in the conversations and from the feedback in general that I've gotten from the airport stakeholders, it definitely makes me feel more confident this time, because again, this is not my expertise area whatsoever. So I do really appreciate all of the hard work everybody's put in to make these compromises and to protect everyone on all sides, because that's my worst fear. Is I certainly want the airport to be viable and sustainable over time, but I don't want to hurt people in the process, right? So I think to me this seems like it might be the right path. So I really appreciate all of that hard work on the administration's part and on all the stakeholders too.
Chair, I'd like to make a comment or two also. I think kudos need to go to Mayor Nadolski for just laying a foundation for these conversations to happen. Without that, we wouldn't be here. So I want to give kudos to the mayor. But the smart people that came to the table to give their input and reasoned, measured, fair input really helped this process. I remember I got an email from Martin today that was pretty lengthy and explained a lot of rationale that we weren't using prior, and it was enlightening. Thank you, Martin, for sending that information. I think all of us got that. But to bring Ogden Airport into a place where we do recognize we've got to follow the FAA's guidelines. We do need to incentivize investment. We need to make sure that works for those who are doing the investing. And that rising tide thing, it does lift all boats. And I think this sets that up really well to make Ogden Airport very successful. We are in a unique place. We've got a really special airport. It's located in a wonderful place. I am so excited about this. I'm looking really forward. And so I appreciate being here today with this proposal before us. And if you're ready for a motion, I'll make it.
Yeah, I want to make a comment to thank you for your patience with us, for asking a lot of questions. Some might have sounded pretty dumb, and you're like, why are they asking those questions? But at some point in time, it takes a lot of questions for us to finally hit. And so thank you. I know it seemed pretty easy for you guys, but it wasn't always easy for us. So thanks for letting us get up to speed. So with that.
Madam Chair, I have a comment as well. I'd like to make a comment too, Madam Chair. I just appreciate the fact that this process for me as a council member has been open. I've heard both sides of the dialogue. I've appreciated the fact that people have come together and compromised and looked at what is best for the airport and sacrificed some things that they want for the betterment of the overall picture. I really appreciate the fact that we had the audit brought to our attention as a city council, and that we were told the areas that we've needed to improve, and then we targeted those areas. And this has just come together for me, so that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate the community input and the stakeholders coming to the table and working with the city council and the administration to make this all come together. This past 2 weeks, it has brought a lot of solace to my soul to hear community input and to read emails and to talk to individual stakeholders. That's been really good. So your voices have been heard, and I think it's an important part of this entire process that gives me comfort as a council member. So thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I would also just add, I know we got a long ways to go as well. So I appreciate, getting to this point, and hope that as we move forward, we'll continue to have that engagement, and you'll continue to be patient with dumb questions from council members on occasion. But yeah, I feel good about where we are, and again, just echo the comments from our other council members.
Okay, Chair, it is with great pleasure that I move we adopt proposed ordinance 2025-43.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Blair, to adopt proposed ordinance 2025-43. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Myers,
Woot woot. Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie,
I think that may be a first woot woot, but I'll do a woot woot yes too.
Councilmember Blair,
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka,
Aye.
Councilmember Graff,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer,
Aye.
Chair White.
It is with great pleasure that this is my last vote. Aye.
You're not going to vote to adjourn? We're going to be here a long time.
Yeah, that's not a vote. That passes. Awesome. Thank
Well
you.
done.
Yeah, and thank you for all your patience and work.
Chair White, would you mind if
Sure. Yeah.
before our friends leave, I just wanted to say something. First, I want to thank the council for listening, for asking questions, being critical thinkers, having open minds, making rational decisions. That's all I've ever would ask of you guys, and you did it once again. I'm sitting here looking at Ed McKinney and remembering it was shortly after the election, and I think it was before I took office, but I remember being in the boardroom over there at the airport, and I just said, give me 10 names. I'll pick 5. All I ask is that they're open-minded, that they're collaborative, that they're constructive in their feedback and their input, because we've got a lot of work to do. And he did. And all of the names that ended up being involved were on that list of 10. It's so important, you guys, to make this point, because we're seeing frustration across the country right now that government doesn't serve its people or listen to its people. And this is an example of where we're starting with the people that we serve, where we have a job to do here at the city. We have an airport that we own and responsibilities that come with it. And I remember telling Ed and people at the table, I said, all I ask is that you help me make sure that you guys succeed in business in this community. and that you help me ensure that the 90,000 people that I'm doing business on behalf of also get to succeed. And that we succeed, that my success is yours and yours is ours. And that was where we started. And I'll just say, and I'll be really candid, there were so many opportunities for us to have lost support from these guys. It has not been easy. It hasn't been perfectly smooth. We went from one airport manager, we had an acting manager that helped us get through it. We took a long time to find Brian because we weren't going to settle. And then we brought Brian in. Brian had work to do to get settled. Still has more to go, right? We had to find a home for him to live in and make sure that he was in touch with his family. And
You picked a good neighborhood, by the way, I gotta say.
did he? Good.
We do have a hangar available at it.
Yeah, right. But there were so many opportunities where we didn't get something right, or where we did and then it slipped back and then it slipped up forward and then we moved forward and then we picked it up again and then we had agreements, we had disagreements, and I don't know how many times, if I had $1 for every time I cursed. I mean, we laughed a ton. I don't remember ever crying, but I definitely remember cursing a lot. And it was just been such a raw and real experience with these guys. It's not lip service. These guys care deeply for the city and for this airport. Do you know how easy it would have been to go somewhere else and do business somewhere else? But they never wanted to because they wanted it to be here. And it amazes me, you guys, how hard people are willing to work in order to succeed, but not just succeed, but to succeed here and to make sure that here, this place, this city succeeds. It amazes me what people are willing to do. And I just want to thank you guys for staying the course so far. We're not there, we're not done, but we are making important strides. This is an enormous step, you guys. This is the most pivotal and controversial part of the whole pie. And for us to get through tonight is an enormous step. But to get to this point and have that kind of support is so much more powerful, you guys, because it means you heard a couple of the things, the qualifications. He left out the fact that he's an astronaut for NASA.
Forgot that.
In the course of this is maybe a little bit of an aside, but remember when those astronauts were stuck in space and somehow mysteriously Charlie came up missing for a little while and was out of pocket. And then there was all these solutions and then suddenly Charlie reappears. That's the level of expertise. It's just one example of the level of expertise we've tapped into in our stakeholders at the airport, but it's also a community, and they talk. As you mentioned it as a leading indicator, Charlie. The airport industry talks, and I'm so heartened to hear that they're talking about Ogden again, because the potential is through the roof. And this community of stakeholders is not just talking to our staff and helping to advise and create policies. They're talking to industry leaders and the industry as a whole. And we are going to get to a point, if we aren't already, where the industry is going to turn and look to Ogden and come back. And that's what we've always needed. But it always had to start with the people that were most affected by our decisions and by our policies. And that's the approach we're going to continue to take as administration. And I just really appreciate your guys' support and letting us use that process and to make sure we put policies in place that work for people. Because we're going to be a government that works for people so that people can succeed in this town. I don't know, I just can't think of a harder, more important, more impactful policy experience than this one. So to you gentlemen that are here, to Dr. Gary Silver that's not here, to others who contributed and helped get us to this point, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are incredible partners, but also have become dear friends to me. And thank you for helping me see the business side and the people side while I lead as the city mayor on your behalf to lead the resources of this city to deliver for you. And I want to thank the staff for all of the times that you continue to go back to the table. And every time I threatened to make the decision, and all of you guys, stakeholders and staff, said, oh, hell no. We got to get to some consensus, you guys, before we leave the mayor to making decisions, because who knows where that's going to go. Thank you, every one of you guys, for staying at the table and finding consensus to the point where I didn't even have to make a decision other than we're not moving until we are in consensus to do business.
3 chairs.
Thanks.
Well done.
All right, thank you. All right, now you guys can leave if you want. Next on our agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding any concerns or ideas or issues on any topic. Please come up, state your name. You have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
All right, we have Heath Sato online.
Hey, Heath Sato, Ogden resident. Congrats on finishing up your time there, and thank you for your time there. To Marcia, Bart, and Angela, I'm calling you by your first names because you're about to be citizens like me again. But thank you for your time there. I also want to make a note that I know it was said that we're going from 58 years to 22 years of experience on the council, but there is a reason for giving the public an opportunity to roll over 3 to 4 council members every 2 years. There's continuity from the staff who are the ones that really do all the real work. I mean, you guys review stuff, but you give yes or no, and they got to really do the digging. And a lot of them have been there for longer than any council member, longer than the mayor. So I think we have plenty of continuity, and we got a lot of good people that are capable of doing good work. So I wouldn't sweat it too much. We'll be okay. But then again, thanks for the time you spent.
All right, Teresa's iPhone. You're good to go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I just wanted to say thank you to the outgoing council members for everything you've done for Ogden. And sorry, I'm getting a ton of feedback on my phone. But I feel like I've gotten to know you all personally, even though I really haven't, over the course of the last 4 years that I've been coming to council meetings. And if any of you have done anything to help my plight with all the crime and destitution that I've had to deal with in Ogden, I appreciate it. And I just wanted to say thank you for your service to the community, and thank you for being willing to serve.
Thanks, Teresa. Anyone else?
I'm Ed McKinney, Eden, Utah. Thanks for the compliments from, to all of our group. All the high-performing teams that I've ever been on, there's been a chemistry involved. Everybody served a different role. We weren't clones of each other. That includes whether it was administration, whether it was a consultant, whether it was attorneys, but we had this chemistry that really clicked and really worked. And I think that's what we needed to get to where we are today. But I also want to, I shouldn't say but I'll add to that, and that is that Mara Brown served a really critical role in keeping the hammer down on us. And we really appreciated that. You know, probably one of the most important things you can have to get things done is a date, a compelling event, something that has to happen by this. And the person that assigns that has the power to do it. And we were very fortunate to have that with Mara and the support of the mayor and now the council. And the chemistry of that team was a thing that I will always remember as being a great business experience. We will measure our airport by performance, and we will be measuring the really critical, vital signs of the airport, and there's a lot of them. The master plan addresses them, but we will add to that to make sure that there's no vital sign that goes unnoticed. Thank you all.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no other people in the gallery. We'll move to comments. Comments from the mayor.
Thank you, Chair White. Thanks for letting me comment. I thought they might sneak out, and so thanks for not sneaking out, but thanks for giving me that opportunity, or I would have spent it here. So I'll spend the balance of my remarks thanking the outgoing council members. Having sat behind that same dais and those chairs, and now on this side, I think I could speak with a unique perspective that being in those chairs is a lot harder than people realize. That there's more information for you guys to deliberate on than most people would ever know. And that sometimes you're asked to pick a side. And in the case of the airport, I was really clear that I wasn't going to put you guys in the same position that I found myself in alongside some of you the first time around, where we had to pick a side. It shouldn't be the case. But I have watched you guys for years, whether I was on the council or now as mayor. All three of you guys make hard choices. And in my experience, all I've ever asked for and what you have always given me and what you've given our administration is an open mind. You've been willing to listen, willing to learn, to make critical decisions based on information, data, rationale, and you've listened to a lot of different sides. I've never faulted you for your positions. All I've ever asked for is that you take a position based on an open mind and an open ear. And I want to thank you on behalf of the city, but also on behalf of our employees in this administration. I want to thank you for giving us that. I feel that you have always given us good faith, that you have always given us what you believe to be right for Ogden, and that you come from a place of goodness and of ethics, and you're coming from a place of love for this community and for the people here. Politics can be pretty brutal, and I want to thank you for not being normal politicians, for not being what Washington, D.C. is. And I just feel like we've had such a journey together on a personal level, from places of immense disagreement to places of immense alignment and everything in between. But I felt like I've had friendship along the way. Friendship's not always formed through easy times, right? So I want to thank you guys for being our friends, but thank you for being our council members. Thank you for giving my staff, our administration in our city, everything that you have. It's hard to see you guys go, but like Keith said, we're going to welcome in the new council members. We're going to treat them the same way. We're going to be an open book. We're going to be the most transparent administration that we can be. That's always been the goal, whether we get credit for that or not. We're just going to keep doing what we do by telling our own story and being transparent and communicative, putting forward the best, most responsible policies and decisions before the council as we can. And the community will have input both through the mic and through the council and through the votes of the council moving forward. That's what we do and what we've always done and what we'll continue to do. So it's hard to see you guys go, but I'm really thankful, and we all feel blessed for the time that we had. So thank you for everything you've given to us.
Thank you. Thank you. If I could turn some time over to Janine Eller-Smith, I think not only is it our last council meeting, but it's hers. And so I think it'd be great
thank you.
to give your opinion.
Yeah. Thanks. I really appreciate you giving me just a couple of minutes. I got thinking today, so I've been in the council office for 16 years, 8 of those years as the executive director, and got thinking, I wonder how many Tuesdays that is. And it's only 782. I thought it'd be a lot more. It feels like a lot more. But this job has been a dream. I mean, I really have loved this job, even though there's been some tough things that we've had to go through and some tough issues we've had to work through. It's just been wonderful because it really gives all of us, your staff, the opportunity to just continually learn. I mean, we're learning along with you and diving deep into things that you need to understand to help you do your job. And a friend of mine, Tom Christopoulos, reminded me that I even learned a new language. I can speak Christopolese now. So he appreciated that I could translate for him. There's some things that I wanted to do when I took over this position as the executive director, and I think that I've done them, that I've worked to maintain the authority of the council and to help council members feel and be successful. And that's different. Success is different for every council member. So that has taken a lot of effort on the full staff to make sure that that happens. Maintain a good relationship with the administration. I think Mark was great, and I really appreciate working with Mara and the mayor as well. Just to be more nimble, and by that I meant be willing to make some changes if we need it. And a lot of times in government, it's just like, well, we're doing it this way because that's how we've always done it. And I didn't want to be that person. And I think we've been pretty successful at that. I mean, we've had some failures, things that didn't turn out like we thought. And it's like, okay, that's a learning experience. So we'll just move on and tweak it or dump it or whatever needs to happen. And then, I always wanted to make sure that if I had to tell a council member, no, you can't do that, that we would always come up with another option, So it was always a no, but let's try this, or will this get you where you want to be? I've made such great friends and admired so many of the leaders in the city. You've had tremendous directors that I've worked with over the 30 years that I've been at Ogden City. And while I don't get paid to have opinions, I will say that you have an amazing staff. And then I got thinking, that's really not an opinion, that's a fact. You really do. And it's been such an honor to work with them. They work so hard on your behalf. They're innovative. They're willing to make changes. And I have no concerns about Glenn taking this seat on the 1st of January because he's an amazing person and so thoughtful and really also wants to do a really good job for you as council members. So I just want to, again, just thank you for the opportunity that I've had here for 30 years and in the office for 16. And that party, I keep getting asked, what are you going to do when you retire? And so this gift that I've given you is sort of an example of what I'll be doing part of the time. Again, just thank you to all of you.
Thanks, Janine.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you.
Comments from other council members?
I'll start. Maybe go down the line here. I didn't realize this is your last meeting today. What the heck? As executive director. You'll be here later? Maybe. Okay. All right. Man, I just appreciate you three council members that, when I first started, you get a lot of good support and training, and I don't know if there's really a council member handbook that was ever given to me. If it was, I probably misplaced that, but really the council member training is watching other council members and seeing how they interact and trying to model behavior after the lessons that you guys have taught. And so I really didn't know all three of you very well before I was elected. I think Bart probably a little bit, but it was just it's just been a great 4 years to really get to know each of you. Serving as the vice chair with Councilmember Chiburka was just an honor, and somebody who thinks a little bit differently than I do, and hopefully, my thoughts that are different from hers, we could kind of come together. And it was just a really cool year. It was a lot of work, and serving with Councilmember White, same thing. When I was the chair, just so appreciative of your viewpoints and differences. And Councilmember Chiburka's humor, always caught me. It was good, and I will gladly accept the baton from Councilmember White on the 5-year financial plan. It's now that burden's on my shoulders now. I'll take that.
Did I just do that?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure.
I got a dance or something
Okay,
with
yeah.
that. And so there's a lot of important issues, and you realize that as you come onto the council, that there are things that you'll pick up that just have always been, fights that have always been happening and working and trying to move things forward. And I'm sure when I go off the council, there'll be a lot of things that are left undone that I hope will continue to work towards getting done. So, and Bart, I think it's been awesome, and I've really enjoyed opportunities to stop by the store and talk to you and just share thoughts about things and get your input. And Councilman Heyer said, it doesn't say a lot, but when he said you better listen, that's the truth. I think you've got a lot of great wisdom and experience, and so I really appreciated that as well. When I was a missionary in Puerto Rico, my dad would send a weekly letter, and he'd also always include these, he called them IPs, which was just these little thoughts or sometimes poems or different things that he would share. And I remember one of them he shared that talked about friendship, and not only the 3 council members that are leaving, but really all the council members and the staff. I just feel like I'm grateful. So this was Dinah Maria Mulock Craik, who wrote this poem, and it just says, "Oh, the comfort, the inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person, having neither to weigh thoughts nor measure words, but pouring them all right out, just as they are. Chaff and grain together, certain that a faithful hand will take and sift them, keep what's worth keeping, and then with a breath of kindness, blow the rest away." And I really do feel like each council member and staff member, I've been able to be fully open with my thoughts and not have to measure and say, well, what are they going to think when I say this? And sometimes I say stupid things, but thank you for being kind and instructive, and for your mentorship. And I look forward to many, many years of still continuing to be friends and interact together on the council, off the council, or whatever, however it ends up being. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Other council members?
Am I next?
What? Whatever. Sure.
I don't have any written thoughts, but I want to express opinion as one of the newer members. I feel like I'm newer than Councilman Graff here, although we came on at the same time. He jumped into the water all preloaded to go here. Yeah, not by much, but I just want to express my appreciation for the mentoring and guidance that I've received over this past couple of years. It's been very interesting to watch the dynamics of our city council work with diverse opinions and how things melt together and come together, mostly in work sessions, and in other areas I think is where the diversity most shines through, and not so much in city council meetings. But I appreciate, Bart, your joyful spirit that you bring to most events, but not always to this particular meeting, but other events, especially socially. Bart is entirely different outside of this room than he is when he comes here. So it's just something you have to experience, but just kudos to you, Bart, and thanks. And Angela, I want to say thanks to you for smiling even when we disagree. She can smile at you and you just feel something. I still haven't quite figured out what I feel, but it brings hope, and it brings some positive vibe that just there's a better day tomorrow, and Angela brings that with her even though we don't always agree. And that's just the beauty of what our council has been this past couple of years. And to Chair White, I just want to say thanks for your mentoring and reaching out at times just to ask opinions or to ask where I'm at and to maybe guide me where I needed some guidance over the past, especially this past year. So you've done a phenomenal job. I appreciate your leadership and your guidance, and just wish you the best in all your future endeavors, and want to say thanks on behalf of our citizenry more than anybody else for the committed and dedicated service you've rendered these many years. Thanks very much.
Okay. Yeah, it's been, I've thought of this as kind of the end of an era a little bit because of the, changing 3 council members out is kind of unprecedented. So, and it's caused me to reflect back on my first interactions with all y'all and some of the things that you've added to my life. I feel like, Councilmember Myers, that you have made me better, just my associations with each of you. Bart was instrumental in getting me back to golf again. It had been 35 years since I picked up a club, and he twisted my arm to participate in the partners tournament, and my wife might not appreciate it, but
Yeah.
I really like to golf now. It's been a lot of fun. And I've just what I said earlier, he doesn't say a lot, but boy, when he does say something, it is well thought out, and it's pretty deep usually. So I really admire you, Bart, for the person you are. Angela is absolutely the sweetest woman that there is. She, you can't ever, she's never mean to anybody. I've never seen you be mean to anybody ever. So that's a good quality. So.
You weren't one of my students.
No, well, maybe in a way, but not that way. So, but yeah, it's been we've been able to talk through differences. I mean, I've sought her out because she sees things through a different lens than I do, and I like to see both sides of something before I vote on something or even make an opinion on something, because it's, I just don't want to be blind to something. I like to, she's helped me to overcome some of my blind spots. So thank you for that. And Marcia, the first time I met you was at the airport, which was interesting since we're having an airport gathering tonight. And that was the first time I met you when you were campaigning.
Less wrinkles.
Yeah, well, looking at your book, you've changed over the years a little. Yeah. You haven't gotten old.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Just experience.
Yeah, just experience. So, and it's been nice to meet Nancy too. You both have been good people to have in my life. And I want to say this, and it is genuine and sincere. I hope that we can be friends ongoing, and I hope we do find time to connect. I don't want you to disappear from my lives. So let's keep it up.
It's in the minutes. It's
Yeah.
happening.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
That
All
I
right.
get to sign. All right. You said yours?
Yeah, I had my say earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
kind of
That
jumped
was-
the line.
Yeah, I know that was really nice.
Yeah, you got it over. You didn't have the anticipation of waiting. Well, I just want to, of course, thank everybody so much for being in service with me, and I have learned a lot also from all of you, the administration and the staff. Been great mentors to me, and I really appreciate that a lot. I think for me, I really try to focus on my values, because public service, as the mayor said, can be really rough, right? It can be challenging when you're in local politics, especially when you see your neighbors at the grocery store or out walking the dog and they want to talk to you about some big issue, etc. And not everybody's always going to like you. And that's really hard for me to get over, because I have been in the past a person that wanted people to like me. But I think I've gotten over that in the last 8 years in a good way. But also, I think my values, I just really try to focus on the values of love, leading with love to start with. Justice, of course, as I always bring up in this setting. And then authenticity, because I think that's challenging when you're serving in this kind of position. You can kind of get off track sometimes. So I hope that I've been able to do that and represent the people that elected me. And yeah, I'll still be here. So I'm happy to connect and talk more as needed. But I do appreciate the friendship and mentorship from everybody. I've definitely learned a lot about myself how the systems work and appreciate that growth from this opportunity.
You know what? I'm going to let you have the last word, old man.
Oh, really?
Or oldest.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If you let me go.
Sure.
All right.
I'm still writing mine. Go
Okay,
ahead.
good.
No, I'm just teasing.
God. Well, I had to write mine down.
Yeah.
So well, that's because you're going to cry. So I don't want to be after you. So many of you know that I grew up in Nebraska. And if you don't, then that was a huge fail on my part. But I grew up in a really political family, very service-oriented, and always knew that I was going to figure out how to give back to our community in some way. I was honored when I was able to help Mayor Caldwell in his campaign. And Susie Van Heuser's seat came open, and there were quite a few people that urged me to run. And the one thing that Nancy said to me is, that sounds great, just don't wait till the last minute to file. So literally, we were buying a car on Friday. We were almost through the transaction, and it was like 3:30. And I said, well, you're going to have a new car to drive. I'm going to take the car, and I'm going to go file. So literally 4:36 on Friday, June 7th, 2013, I came down and paid my $25, which, by the way, it's still $25, to file to run for council. So another huge fail. Don't wait till the last minute. I'm giving you this background a little bit because my first debate, I thought I was pretty cool. I came with a vision. I knew I wanted to create a vibrant city and figure out how to, increase our public safety and figure out to bring financial sustainability to our city. And, I had this really great idea. So I knew in my first debate that I was just going to knock it out of the park. So I got up and I talked about in the weeds stuff, like stuff we talk about all the time, taxes and land use and just, as I said earlier, the non-sexy stuff. My opponents got up and talked about, I don't know what, but I think it was pretty much puppies and rainbows. And literally, I lost my first debate. But I knew at that point that I was going to lead with passion, that I was going to lead with authenticity, that I was going to lead with transparency, and I was going to lead trying to educate people down the road. And for 12 years, I really feel like I have done that. We know that, thank you, Laura, for reminding me that sometimes we don't always agree. We've had a ton of accomplishments, and I tried to write some down that I really thought were pretty interesting and pretty near and dear to my heart. And they were near and dear to my heart because they're things that we made choices that we knew that were going to really help into the future, like securing the land and purchasing the land under the Union Station, finding money for the Pioneer Rodeo and the expansion of it now, and now it's in the top 10 or 3 or 5 top rodeos in the country. The new temple opening, I was really proud of our city. Proud of our city that came together, and we could have had only one group of individuals volunteering, those that were in the LDS faith, and yet that's not how Ogden showed up. Ogden showed up both those that were not in the church and those that are in the church, to make sure that we welcomed the world to our city. The Marshall White Center, the Wonder Block, the BRT so that people can get around. Our bike master plan, by the way, that it's almost, I think that's close to 10 or 11 years old, probably needs to be updated. The Christmas Village expansion, there were years that, a couple of years that went by that Bart said, we need to figure out how to get more electricity to the Christmas Village. And We didn't know quite how we were going to do that, but somebody came up with a great idea. Let's put out LED lights so that we could have more and more. The numerous land uses, employee compensations, the infrastructure needs that we've done. I went back to look, and one of my budget goals for 2014 was to bring on new signs to Ogden City. And yes, I saw something covered up on Harrison Boulevard that actually might look like a new entry sign into Ogden. You know, I know I preached about this a lot, but charging stations, I was tired of watching really expensive electric cars just drive on by and not stopping in Ogden to enjoy our downtown. Beekeeping, yeah. Hopefully the 5-year financial plan that I think I've spent 8 years preaching about, so hopefully that will get going. And then how can we forget chickens? My favorite. I'm really going to go through this quickly. I know that it doesn't sound like I am, but I just want to thank the council staff. You really do make our jobs so much easier. We have asked questions. Janine, one of the things that you brought up, which you really did try to say, you know, no but, and I think I heard no but way more than other council members. But thank you all for your patience, your understanding, and listening to my wild ideas. To the employees that that do the work. I mean, they do the work because they love Ogden and they want to make Ogden a better place. I just want to thank you so much. 700 and some odd employees. I don't think I won't go through every one of them tonight, but thank you. And mostly thank you for your patience, understanding, and again, my wildest dreams. To the mayor and administrative team, and I'll also say both Mayor Caldwell and Mayor Nadolski, thank you for your patience, understanding, and our wildest dreams and ideas. I'm going to miss your thoughtfulness and your solutions and listening to us come up with better solutions sometimes. And I think that the thing that we're missing today is being able to disagree, to be able to have the conversation, and then ultimately we come up with better solutions. And I really appreciate that, and I only hope that that will continue with the new individuals coming in. To my council colleagues, each and every one of you, thank you for your patience, understanding, and my wildest ideas. I really am going to miss your brilliance, your questions, our arguing, our bantering back and forth, our laughing, and even your smiling faces. Each one of you, I've learned, are here to do the hard work, not because you want the recognition, but because you believe in Ogden and where Ogden and the better place that we all want it to be. I will have, I hope, friends forever. And don't worry, I haven't deleted anybody out of my phone, so you might get a call. To my friends, thanks for believing in me, and thanks for early morning coffees and even some late night glasses of wine. And thank you for believing in what I wanted to do and my passion. And thank you for not always agreeing with me. There were times that you looked at me pretty funny. And so thank you again for your patience, understanding, and my wild dreams and ideas. To my wife, Nancy, thank you for being my rock. Thank you for being patient with me, understanding, and knowing that I have wild ideas. And you really did push back on some of them. And mostly thank you to the residents. I am so humbled and grateful that I've been able to do this work for 12 years. I started my career knowing that I wanted to do service, and I was able to do it for 12 years. That is something very near and dear to my heart. And thank you to the residents for letting me do that. I will miss all of you more than you know. And thank you for the opportunity to serve. And affectionately, O-Town is awesome. So thank you.
Well said.
Thank you, Marcia.
Your turn. Do you need the tissues?
I will. I've got them.
What was the famous saying? Lock it down?
Lock it up.
Lock it up.
Lock it up. So you can put it on the screen if you want. I'll do my best. Like Janine, I tried to go through a few things. Mine were very, very modest estimations, but I think in my time on the council, I read over 500,000 pages of packets. I counted how many Tuesday nights. I didn't count how many hours. I think it's funny and people laugh when I tell them when I first got on the council, the packet was delivered to me in a police car. We've come a long way. I'm channeling my inner Doug Stevens, and I wrote some stuff down. And Doug wrote his on like those little little notepads, smaller than that, and I think he had 47 pages. So mine's not quite that long, but believe it or not, I've always done this. I've written down thoughts every election cycle because I never took this for granted. Lock it up. I never assumed that I would be back. So the hard part this year was actually putting it down on paper. So I've written some things, and I'm gonna read it. Hopefully it helps me and you get through this. As I conclude my service on the City Council, I want to begin with one simple message. Thank you. Thank you to my family and friends, to everyone who has supported me, whether they voted for me or not, to the many council members I've had the privilege to serve with and learn from, to the administration, both past and present, to our incredible staff, to the hundreds of citizens who show up week after week to hold us accountable, and to our dedicated city employees who make this city work every single day. When I ran for city council 16 years ago, I had no idea the impact this experience would have on my life. Serving on the council has changed me in countless ways, but the one I'm most grateful for happened at an ambassadors meeting for the annual Ogden City Partners in Success Golf Tournament. I don't know if it was her long red hair, her witty pickup line, or her unmatched love for this city, but I knew she was special and very beautiful. That meeting sparked something in me that has only grown stronger and brighter every passing day, and I am deeply grateful for her love and support. And I couldn't be more excited to begin our next chapter and adventures together. I love you. Serving our city has been one of the greatest honors of my life, and none of what we've accomplished, and I believe that, what we've accomplished, I've never thought of it as what I've accomplished. What we've accomplished would not have been possible without the spirit of collaboration that defined our work together. I am grateful for our form of government and the structure, balance, and accountability it provides. It was a privilege for me to learn my role and responsibilities as a council member and to serve within those rails. It has been an honor to work with this mayor and his administrative team. Even when we didn't always agree, we approached our responsibilities with respect, professionalism, and a shared commitment to doing what was best for our community. I wish Mayor Nadolski continued success, and I want him to know that he has my full support moving forward, and I'm here if he ever needs me. Over the past 16 years, I've watched our city grow and strengthen in meaningful ways. Together, we made tough but necessary decisions that were usually difficult. But those decisions improved the city's financial health and positioned us for long-term stability. That was a shift from when I got on the council. When I got on the council, it seemed like we were managing our finances from day to day, week to week, maybe month to month, maybe. The improvements we've made have allowed us to invest, the improvements we've made have allowed us to invest in our future rather than simply manage the present. And I'm very proud of that. We have also experienced real economic growth. New businesses have opened, jobs have been created, and opportunities have expanded for our residents. That growth didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen by chance or because of one single decision. It happened through thoughtful planning, strong partnerships, a lot of collaboration and a lot of debate, and a shared belief that Ogden's best days were still ahead, and I truly believe that. Public safety has always been a top priority for me, and I'm proud of the progress we made in strengthening our police and fire departments. It was an honor for me to support those who protect and serve our community every day. And I believe a stronger public safety has a meaningful difference in the quality of life for our residents. And I'm proud to say that we all collectively worked very hard to address that. And I think that we're seeing the benefits of that work. Most importantly, I will always value the way we work together as a team. Council members, city staff, and community leaders, focusing on solutions rather than divisions. That teamwork is the foundation for good local government. I am especially thankful for the makeup of our city council, 4 district representatives and 3 at-large members. And I'm thankful for the diversity of perspectives it brings. I'm grateful for the opportunity I've had to serve alongside so many individuals and for the lessons each perspective has taught me. I've always loved this city, but through this experience, I've come to see it through a much wider lens. And now realize that there is even more to love. I am honored to be leaving this council. I'm honored to be leaving this council alongside Marcia, Angela, and Janine. 3 absolute legends. Ogden is a better place because of their dedication and hard work. Lock it up. It was a privilege to serve with them and to learn from them. I am like Rich said, I am truly a better person because of my relationship with all 3 of them and all of you as a whole. I am grateful to call you all friends. Before I go, I'd like to offer a bit of advice to the new council members coming in. First, lean on our staff. They are brilliant. They're a dedicated team who genuinely want you to be successful and who care deeply about this city. Their experience and institutional knowledge are invaluable. Use it. Second, take the time to truly understand your roles and responsibility within our form of government and do your best to operate within those parameters. That structure exists for a reason, and respecting it leads to better outcomes for everyone. Third, talk to one another. Take the time to build relationships with your fellow council members, listen to different perspectives, and learn from one another. Collaboration starts with conversation. And lastly, work with the administration, not against them. This isn't a competition where one side wins. Where one side wins and the other loses. When we find ways to work together, our city and our residents are the real winners. As I step away, I do so with gratitude and confidence. Gratitude for the opportunity to serve and confidence in the leadership and direction of this city. Thank you for the trust you placed in me, for the friendships we built, and for allowing me to be part of this journey. I said this a little earlier, but I mean it. It has been an honor for me to be able to help shape the city that shaped me. And I am indebted to all of you for allowing me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Close, so close.
A legend.
Legends, three of them. Yeah.
All right. With that,
It's kind of anticlimactic, but I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
we have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Graff to adjourn. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye.
Nay. You got it. Aye.
All right.
Christmas.